So if you're a business or you're just planning a long-term move to one of Asia's big cities, say Hong Kong, you hit this wall,
Oh, yeah. The classic problem.
right? You need a good place, furnished, managed well, for maybe 6 months,
hmm
a year.
And a normal apartment lease is what, 2 years minimum? And
Yeah,
you have to buy all your own stuff?
exactly. Or you go the hotel route, and after the first week, your company's finance department is calling you. It's not sustainable.
And that gap, that huge space between a rigid 2-year lease and a pricey hotel room, that's where the real opportunity is. It's this whole world of extended stay solutions.
And that's what we're doing in this deep dive. We're going to look at the playbook of one really big player, Weave Living, to see how they're jumping on the current market in Hong Kong to pretty much dominate that space.
Yeah, and the sources we have, they show a company moving incredibly fast. They've got major backing from Warburg Pincus, and they're not just buying apartments, they're snapping up whole buildings, even hotels, and flipping them into rental properties.
It's a very calculated play on this growing demand for flexible medium to long-term rentals.
Okay, let's unpack this and really look at how one company is building an entire rental ecosystem in one of the world's toughest markets.
To really get it, you have to look at the timing. I mean, they're not just expanding randomly. They're doing it in this very specific window of opportunity.
Right. Their founder, Sachin Doshi, he actually called the current Hong Kong property market a unique opportunity.
And that's the key word, isn't it? Unique.
It really is. I mean, for anyone listening, you have to understand that Hong Kong real estate is usually a fortress. The barrier to entry is just sky high.
But right now, things are different. There's a softening in prices, a market repricing, partly because of high interest rates and some wider economic, let's say, uncertainty.
So this is the perfect time for, big opportunistic capital to come in.
Exactly. The sources say they're getting en bloc residential assets at attractive prices.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like this. They're not just buying one property on the monopoly board.
They're buying up the utilities, the railroads, entire blocks of apartments while the prices are temporarily down. It gives them this incredibly low-cost basis for assets that will churn out rental income for years, for decades.
Okay, but a softening market also means risk, right? Even with a backer like Warburg Pincus, aren't they worried the market could dip even further? How do you protect yourself from that?
That's the smart part of the strategy. It's a rental-focused strategy. They're not just flipping these properties for a quick profit.
They're not banking on the price going up tomorrow.
Well, they're focused on yield, on filling these places with tenants, corporate clients, expats, long-term residents who pay rent every single month. Once that cash flow starts, the day-to-day value of the building itself becomes, well, less of an immediate concern. They're building a rental machine.
And when you look at the specific properties they're buying, you really see the scale of that machine.
You really do. These aren't small deals.
Let's talk about the service department side first. That's for the core business traveler. They bought a place called Largos Residences.
Right. A 23-story building in Xiongwan, a prime spot.
And the sources give us the numbers. HK, $585 million for 44 apartments. So if you do the math, that's about HK $13.3 million per apartment.
Which sounds like a huge number.
It does, but if you put it in context, compared to what those units would have been worth at the peak of the market, say in 2021, it suggests they got a pretty significant discount.
So they're locking in future rental income, but with a much, much lower initial cost than their established competitors.
Exactly, and that's just one piece of the puzzle. They're also making a huge pivot into the traditional rental market.
Yeah, this is a major shift for them.
They bought a 24-story tower in mid-levels, a very upscale area. It used to be called Mir Service Departments.
And instead of just keeping it as is, they're completely refitting it. The sources are really clear on this point. It's set to become their very first traditional long-term rental property. It's a whole new brand for them, Weave Residences.
So they're going head-to-head with traditional landlords now.
It's a brilliant defensive move. It diversifies their income. If corporate travel takes a hit for some reason, they're not totally exposed. They still have these stable, long-term residents paying rent month in, month out.
And to get that kind of mass inventory, you can't just buy up apartment buildings one by one. It's too slow. Which brings us to the most interesting tactic.
The hotel conversions.
Yes. This is how you achieve scale. Fast.
The numbers are, frankly, staggering. Our sources say they're in talks to buy 2 big hotels over in Kowloon, the Hotel Cozy Harborview and the Hotel Ease Mongkok.
And if those deals go through,
We're talking about nearly 800 rooms added to their portfolio. just like that.
800 rooms. Instantly. That's a game changer. That's how you go from being a big player to being a market consolidator.
And what's so efficient about converting hotels is that the bones are already there.
Right. They're already built for people to live in, basically. Private rooms, private bathrooms.
Individual climate control, fire safety systems. A lot of them even have kitchenettes. It's so much faster and cheaper to refit a hotel than it is to convert, I don't know, an old office building.
So this big move into all these different types of property, it explains why they had to change their name.
It really does. The original name was Weave Co-Living. But you can't just be the co-living guys anymore when you're buying luxury towers and 400-room hotels. It just doesn't fit.
So if you're the listener and you're actually looking for a place, how do you even navigate this? What are the different options they're now offering?
This is where their rebrand is really smart. They've created 3 very distinct, very clear brands. It allows them to target totally different people without confusing anyone.
Okay, let's break them down. First, the one we just talked about, Weave Residences.
Right. That's your traditional long-term rental. Think unfurnished or maybe lightly furnished apartments. It's for professionals, families, people who are putting down roots in Hong Kong for a few years.
Pure stability.
Then at the other end, you have their original concept, Weave Studios.
The co-living model.
Exactly. Affordable, single-occupancy micro-apartments. The rooms are small, but the location is great and you have shared communal spaces. It's perfect for, say, students or young professionals on a budget.
And then bridging that big gap in the middle
Is Weave Suites. And this is the key for the corporate market. These are your classic serviced apartments. Fully furnished, all your bills are included, flexible lease terms.
the kind of place you'd put a team on a 3-month assignment.
Precisely. It's a high-touch, high-margin product. It has the services of a hotel, but the space and comfort of a real apartment. And the difference between the brands is huge.
In terms of what you get.
Oh, absolutely. A studio might have a shared kitchen, but a suite will have premium appliances in the unit and weekly housekeeping. The diversification is what makes the whole portfolio so resilient. If one segment slows down, they can lean on the others.
So they're basically future-proofing their entire business by controlling 3 different pillars of the rental market at the same time.
That's a great way to put it.
But it all comes back to this hotel conversion tactic. It seems efficient, but are there risks? What does it actually cost to turn a hotel into a proper residential building?
That's a really good question. It's not as simple as just changing the sign out front. Hotels and residential blocks are built under totally different regulations. Fire codes, soundproofing.
So it's a big investment.
It's a significant capital expenditure, for sure. But Weave is making a bet. They're calculating that the cost of converting these hotels, especially since they're buying them at a discount, is still far, far lower than the cost of building something brand new in Hong Kong.
Right. And they could do it because the hotels are available in the first place. They're capitalizing on the challenges the hotel industry has been facing.
It's an arbitrage play, a brilliant one. They're taking an asset that has variable nightly risk a hotel room and turning it into an asset that generates stable monthly income.
And they're only doing it in the best spots.
Location is non-negotiable. Everything we've talked about, Lardos Residences, the Mid-Levels Tower, the Kowloon Hotels, they're all right next to MTR stations in the heart of the action. That's how you attract the high-value tenant.
Okay, so let's just pull this all together. Looking back at what we've unpacked, Weave Living is running a really aggressive, multi-layered playbook. They're using the soft market to buy prime assets at discount. They're converting hotels to get rental units at scale really quickly. And they've created these 3 distinct brands, residences, studios, and suites, to capture basically every type of long-stay renter in the city.
It's a comprehensive strategy.
Yeah.
Which leads to a final sort of provocative thought for you to think about.
Okay.
When you see this model working so well, when major capital starts converting whole sectors of commercial property like hotels into housing on a massive scale, what does that do to other cities? How does that change rental stability and housing supply in other dense global hubs? As that line between a hotel and a home starts to blur, does it end up redefining what a serviced apartment even is forever?